So this week, Richard Whiffin announced his squad to head off to the World Cup in Italy at the end of the month. And this year, I think Wales have a really good opportunity to go quite deep into the tournament. This week, DragonSports was lucky enough to catch up with head coach Richard Whiffin and a couple of the players, and the vibe around the camp is really positive. They're very confident going into this, and rightly so. Look at the recent Six Nations, their best display in a long time. Being Italy away, which was their first away win for about 4 years, that really good win against Ireland, and then of course that massive win against England in the Arms Park. So if they can bottle that up and take it forward, then I think they got a really good opportunity. The group, they've got Argentina coming up first, and then France, and then Spain. Argentina is obviously a tough outing, but Wales should be favourites going into that. Argentina not won many games over the last few years, though they've basically all been against one of South Africa, Australia or New Zealand. So they're obviously playing good competition there. So it's going to be a real tough test. But there's a real good vibe about this group. They've been together a long time. There's a good camaraderie and a good spirit between them. And they're actually a lot more players in form. A lot of players getting a lot more game time than they were previously. Richard Whiffin touched on the SRC and the fact that players are getting a lot more game time. There was actually a stat that came out when they went into the under-20 Six Nations that they were actually, their players on average were getting 70% more game time in the league than they were the year before when it was the Premiership. So the SRC is proving that it's working. But we've also seen some players come through. Tom Bowen, Stefan Manuel has got opportunities for Cardiff. And then you've got the likes of Jack Woods, who's over at Bath. We spoke to him this week, and he had his first start in the Premiership this season. And what a great environment to be in, the current Premiership champion. DragonSports managed to catch up with Jack Woods, Louis Trevette and Sam Scott. It was actually really interesting speaking to the three guys. All three of them could not speak highly enough of the chance they've had to go over the bridge and play in a different system and actually get experience in a different environment and the professionalism and everything that it involves. Jack Woods is part of the Bath Academy, and he was saying about the uni and how they link up and they play with Bucks Rugby. And then the boys from Bristol were saying like the facilities, how good they are with integrating the academies and the first team. And they both sing the praises of Ellis Genge, who they said has been a massive influence on them, and both individually brought him up and said how much he's helped them with their development so far. 20s World Cup is always a really tough competition, but Wales have tended to go in a poor run of form and then build form through the tournament and sort of finish quite strongly. So the fact that they're heading in with some good form and a good feeling around the camp, I feel quite positive for them going quite deep into this tournament. And Whiffin himself said he was targeting finishing in that top 4 of the top 4 best teams in the world. So high expectations, and they've got a really good chance. Interesting, at the end of the press conference there was a question about Morgan Morse and his lack of inclusion, and Whiffin said that it was a decision that they'd made prior to the end of the season, that no matter what happened, he wasn't going to go in the Junior World Cup, and I think they were expecting him maybe to go away with Wales, and given the fact that he wasn't, they weren't going to force him to go to the Junior World Cup. Said that he actually would benefit from a pre-season with the Ospreys because he hasn't had one for the last 3 years. It was an interesting explanation. You know, to me, I just think the Ospreys and the WRU made an agreement that he wouldn't go in the Junior World Cup because they were expecting him to go away with the senior team, and he didn't, and they haven't sort of then released him for the under-20s. So really interesting. You can't deny that Morgan Morse would give the under-20s a better chance to win the Junior World Cup, but it's just one of them things. But that's all from me. Let me know what you think. Support the boys and go to dragonsports.co.uk.